Hey, Sune. Great to see you again. And thank you so much for joining us on the She Can Do podcast. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about what you've been up to since the program.
Thank you, Ines. Thank you for talking to me and allowing me to share my story and my journey into UX design. I'm happy to be here.
So, what was it for you that sort of helped you shift or find interest in user experience design?
A colleague of mine mentioned that he's interested in the user experience design field, so that sort of made me look into it, and
Mhm.
I found it attractive because it seems to be a very trendy field at the moment. If you search for it online, you find a lot of information about it. When I started looking into, is this an option for me? I found many on Eventbrite. There were a lot of online sessions you can join or workshops, companies trying to promote their boot camps or stuff. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
information about it online. A lot of user experience
Mhm.
designers also promoting themselves and their work. There's websites like Dribble where you can look at
Mhm.
user interface design. So it seemed to be a field that's very present at the moment.
Mhm.
What also attracted me was, so architecture is very rigid in the sense you study and then you have to apply to a body and you need to do exams.
Mhm.
And user experience design just seems more welcoming, and you come with the background you have and you can
Mhm.
apply it. And
Mhm.
also, so I have to mention, I think in our sixth program, I was one of the older candidates who was a part of the program. So I come with more than 10 years work experience and a child and a
Mhm.
husband. So you need to be smart about, if you want to pivot, you can't choose something that you can't now decide to be a doctor and then you have to study again for 10 years. You need something
Yes.
that you can maybe study while you are working, or that you don't have to write many exams.
This is, I mean, the similarities between architecture and user experience design aren't obvious, but I think it's really interesting.
I think, yes, I agree with that. Architecture is, you focus on the experience of the user in a space.
Yes.
I think sadly in the few years before I decided to move into user experience design, you get so caught up in the details and the project pressures that it was really good to just take a step back and think about user experience design and think about what it is what you're trying to do with an app or a
Mhm.
website, and then also be able to apply that overview into architecture as well.
Yeah. And I think that's that line you said, like, architecture is about designing a space or an experience for a specific user. And I mean, that's the same thing as user experience design, right? It's just
Yeah.
physical versus digital space. So, yeah, I think that's also why I've seen it, the transition for people from architecture to user experience design. I've seen a lot of success in it. Yeah. So that I think is probably why. And Sine, was there something specific that sort of sparked it for you that you said, okay, cool, I'm now doing it. I'm making the transition.
For me, so I think I've been thinking about it, like what my journey, and when my daughter was born, like the becoming a parent really is life changing, and it changes the way you look at your career, your life, and your priorities.
Mm.
When
Mm.
I went back to maternity leave, after maternity leave, I worked for I think about 4 years at a very intense pace, and
Mm.
I reached a level of burnout where like something needed to change. I think also in that time I was looking for that. That's when I was exploring user experience design, just looking for something that I can latch onto that's different from my career. And
Mm.
then I reached a point where I was like, look, I really need a break from my day to day work. Fortunate to be able to resign and then take a bit
Mm.
of a break and then study. So I studied through the Interaction Design Foundation online.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
really recommend that. That is self-paced. Um,
Mm.
then so that I did that on my own for a year, but then when I found She Can Do, it just really gave more momentum to my path into user experience design, because I needed
Mm.
the weekly sessions and the Saturday morning sessions. You had to be accountable, you had to show up, you had to do the homework. So that really helped me to stay on track, because while I was
Mm.
studying with myself, I wasn't as disciplined as I planned to be. And She
Mm.
Can Do gave that process, or timeline to stick to.
Yeah. So how did you sort of first hear about She Can Do, and, what made you then decide to actually enroll in the program?
So after studying through the Interaction Design Foundation for a while, I was at a point where okay, now what is the next step? So I spoke
Mm.
to a few friends, and I have a friend, Afsana Khan, who I think she
Yeah.
was maybe your lecturer at some point, or but I
Yes,
think she also presented one session for
she
She
did.
Can Do previously,
She did.
and so
Yes.
she told me, she was like, "No, I have to look at this. It's on LinkedIn, and she thinks that's something that will really benefit me." So I started
Oh,
following She Can
amazing.
Do on LinkedIn, and I attended a portfolio session I think it was at Inscape here in Cape Town. And
Okay.
when I started looking into She Can Do, it was at a good time when they were taking in new candidates for the next 6 months program. So yeah, so
Okay.
I signed up, and I was quite surprised. I was like, okay, I'm sending an email or like applying, and I didn't expect to hear anything. And then I got a email, and we had a discussion, and yeah, I was very happy to be accepted for the program.
Hmm. Okay. And what were your expectations going in?
To be more equipped for the UX design field. So the Interaction Design Foundation, it gives you a lot of theory, and you do
Hmm.
your exercises, but you don't have that personal interaction. So I was hoping to become part of a community and just have more human connection, and yeah, to learn
Mm,
as a group. And that was
mm,
exactly what I found. It was amazing to have sessions in person. Even though it's online, it really
mm,
it was much more engaging than I had previously experienced, like studying architecture in a lecture hall, because like you, all the people's faces are there. You have to engage, there's questions being asked. And it was so we would start each Saturday morning. So we had, as you know, 3 hour sessions on Saturdays, and we would
mhm,
start each session with like a warm up, fun game type of thing, and it was just really enjoyable getting to know other people who are interested in UX design, and it was very engaging. I always looked forward to our sessions. She Can Do really provided an engaging way to study.
always remember that. It's the graduations. Everybody says, what are we going to do with our Saturdays now? So it is something that it's really fun to look forward to.
Yeah.
And Sine, I guess if what were some of your biggest takeaways then from the program?
What I missed in my previous job in architecture was human connection. It felt like you send a lot of emails and you're involved in a lot of projects, but it also
Mm,
focused on projects like no one checks in with how you are doing. And these Saturday sessions where we start with like, how are you feeling, or whatever warm up game we were playing, it really made me feel seen and valued and to be part of the group. So um
mm,
human
mm,
connection was an important thing that I was hoping for and that I found. And I think the
mm,
way the sessions are presented and the kind of exercises we do, it gave me a lot of confidence. I can do this. It's an achievable goal to be able to be a user experience designer. And
mm,
the practical side of I think the session that I felt I learned the most was the practical side of really working in Figma,
mm.
because I struggled for some reason. I struggled to find, there are videos that explains to you how to use Figma, but to
Yeah.
really use Figma in a way to apply to a project and to use the Figma templates, that was really very valuable to me. And I
Mm,
felt that that was also when I'm currently working as an architecture consultant and also
mhm.
as a UX design, like part time for a company, Drakentech, in Cape Town, in
Okay.
Tokai. And I
Okay.
found that the UX projects that they needed my involvement in, I am able to do it competently because of that Figma workshops that we had. Because it's like,
Mm,
okay, this is
mm,
what you do, this is your outcome, and just work through it. So it was
mm.
it really helped me to be valuable from the start as a UX designer.
And I also think, for me, what's very interesting is how you've used different learning methods to get yourself to where you are, so the theoretical aspect and self-paced work with the IDF, and then the sort of more practical, real life,
Mm.
human connection approach where you're learning from other people. So I
I,
think that's Interesting.
I just want to add that I think the She Can Do program, it's not something you must do as a standalone thing. You also like, I am still continuing my learning. I'm going back now to the Interaction Design Foundation, learning more, and in the office learning. So it's not, you're not going to do the She Can Do program and then that's now all you've ever needed to study. It's a continuing
100.
process of learning and growing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that's, yeah, all parts of design. And it's changing so frequently and so much, so we have to keep learning. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, and tell me a bit about the sort of the role you're in as a UX designer now. How's that going?
So I am enjoying it. I have to say, some of the or an obstacle that I've encountered in my in the UX design field is as an older person with experience and or let's call it a person with senior work
Mm,
experience.
mm,
I
mm.
am struggling to figure out where I fit into the UX design landscape.
Okay.
I think that's an yeah, something that I'm still on my journey of figuring out. Am I a junior designer? Am I a senior designer? Where exactly do I fit in? But I'm thankful for the job opportunity. My sister actually connected me to one of her previous colleagues who he has his own business.
Mm,
From Drakentech, and they develop software and websites, and they have they don't have a permanent user experience designer. They do use consultants, but
mhm.
so I help them out on a part-time basis, and
Okay.
I've really enjoyed the work. It really is great to see. What I like about the company is they do different websites and different projects. So it's great to see the different things so you get different projects.
Mm,
Then
mm.
I've also been involved in we've recently an app came out and I'm involved in the testing of it. And that's also like
Very cool.
to see, okay, how does it work to test an app so that in the future, if I design something, I know, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. These are possible things that can go wrong. So UX design is not you can't just do your work and then leave. You need to
Mm,
think about what happens afterwards, and
mm, mm,
that's what I'm
mm.
really enjoying working as a UX designer to see what to and software to see how software development works. And then I've been in meetings where it's like they talk about the frameworks behind it, and then I'm like, okay, well, this is something I'm not familiar with. I need to
Mhm.
like I write down the words that I need to study and be more familiar with. So it's a continuous field of learning.
And I thought it was, yeah, it's very interesting how you mentioned just you're sort of struggling to find your place in the UX landscape. Um, maybe you can, yeah, tell me a bit more about that.
So if I think about our the group of women who did the She Can Do program with me, many of them are younger than I am, and they're like maybe they did a graphic design course or something, and now they're
Mm,
moving into UX design. And I think that's an easy story for employers to latch onto or to understand. And they want to, especially if you're looking for someone, a junior designer, that's someone it makes sense to
mm,
employ a
mm,
younger person with, yeah. So I think my story is maybe a bit more challenging to understand. And I feel like
mm,
it's maybe not obvious the value I can bring to a company. I think that
mm,
maybe I can understand that maybe some people would be hesitant to employ a person with other work experience, maybe as a junior designer or as a designer who will be working under somebody younger. So it's that
mm,
figuring out, I don't know.
mm,
I think the way I'm telling my story is maybe not making it that easy for hiring managers or recruiters to figure out where to place me. um,
mm.
Also not sure exactly what kind of jobs to apply to because the goal is to, in the future, have a full-time UX design job and to grow in that career.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think the jobs that are being advertised is sort of very specific.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I've seen a lot of people experience that, because there's yeah, several people who are sort of moving in from later on in their career and they're trying to transition in to UX and then figuring out the salary cut and versus a junior position, So I think that is tricky. And especially I think roles are still quite closely tied to years of experience, which, doesn't always show the right things.
Yeah.
Um,
But what I can say is in my work at Drakentech, like after our first project together, the manager at Drakentech, he was like, "Oh wow, like they really enjoy working with me. He really understands now that I'm not just a junior person." So it does like
mm,
once you're in the office, it does show, and the experience helps. So yeah, I know
Previous.
I have a lot to bring to the tables.
Yeah. And then that's great, right? Like that's now a reference that shows that actually
Yes.
you should be employed at a higher level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. So now you'd talked a bit about how from the She Can Do program, the Figma prototyping was something that felt as though it really supported you now and where you're at. Is there anything else from the program that stood out to you as significant sort of helpers or enablers to where you are now?
I really was astounded at the level of preparation that went into it, and I could really feel the value of like we had different facilitators, and that
Mm,
was very positive because every facilitator brings her own knowledge and her own field of expertise, and that was I really enjoyed how you know from one facilitator and one section like we did the user research and then the storytelling how yeah, I just feel like it's such a treasure trove of knowledge that we got for in a 6 month program, and the facilitators really made an effort to make the like our Saturday morning 3 hour sessions to make it yeah, like I previously said, enjoyable, but it felt like they want to be there, they want to share their knowledge, and that is why we also
mm,
show up
mm,
to get that knowledge. And
yeah.
then, like, it really felt when we presented our homework and we talked it through, it's just the valuable input. I don't valuable input from different facilitators because if you study something, you don't get all this input from different people. So
Mm,
just all the volunteers and the facilitators who are involved is just it gives
mm.
the program a richness and all the different influences.
Is there a specific sort of facilitator or expert that you would give a shout out to?
Well, oh, definitely Michelle Saunders, who she was my mentor. So also for
Amazing.
the
Yeah.
6 months, we got a mentor, and that was just I really enjoyed our sessions. I could see she's busy with her work, but she really the hour that she spent with me was very valuable. And yeah, so thank you, Michelle. I really valued that, and it really gave sort of a grounding to the whole because it does you the homework, it's a lot. You need to be committed and you need to put time in. And then it was sort of
Mm,
just good to talk to Michelle as a more experienced user experience designer who
mm,
shared her knowledge and her examples from her work life. So it's also positive to see a senior UX designer still doing the work
mm,
because I think with
mm.
the tech field, it does feel like it's young
Yes.
people and then but to see people with lots of experience still committed to user experience design, it's very positive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great. And I guess after now completing the program, is there something now that you believe about yourself or know about yourself that you didn't before?
I keep learning new things about myself all the time.
Mm,
I definitely felt that the program was like, when I think back about that time, it wasn't just a learning time, it was also a growing time. So I definitely feel
mm,
like I, I gained a lot of confidence from the She Can Do program. I think what was challenging for me, and I think it always will be group work. So because we were
mm,
12 candidates and we had to work in groups
mm,
of 6, and that is challenging also working remotely and trying to understand people's times and you're not but so I think as
mm,
just a reminder that working in a group is it can be challenging and you need to respect that different group dynamics because it was interesting I had my
mm.
6 person group and then at the end we all 12 of us were working together and then the dynamic changed again. So it's
Yep.
just I think if you as you advance in your career and you sort of start mentoring other people, you sort of start standing more alone. But then this was it was interesting, the group, yeah, the group experience, to know
Yeah.
to give everybody their space in a group. So that was a good learning experience.
Yeah. I always say it's very different to design as one person versus to, design with others. A whole lot of other things that come up.
Mm.
Okay. I guess maybe just to sort of wrap up, what advice would you give to somebody who was in your position, let's say, a year ago?
So because I felt burnout, I decided to resign, and then so full stop, and then pursue UX design. And now
Mm,
I am in a field where I'm doing architecture and UX design. And so I think firstly, don't quit your job, because moving, I think pivoting into a new field and finding a job in UX design, it takes longer than you planned for, and you don't want to be in that. Experience the financial stress of not having a job for a while and then
mm,
forgetting the reasons why you decided to resign. If you can, yeah, like, do UX in addition to your, don't quit your day job yet before you have something else lined up. That's something I knew in theory, but it's yeah, it's difficult when you have to learn it from your experience. So that's one thing. Then something I struggle with as well still, like, there's so much information online. It's difficult to discern what is important and valuable and what is
mm,
somebody just promoting themselves actually
mm,
and not really giving you knowledge. So that is something I struggle with. It's like, don't just take everything that's out there. Everything that's out there isn't valuable for you. Be selective in what you absorb and
mm,
be selective in what you learn. And that is also one of the important contributions of She Can Do. It's a setup where a lot of people do it not to promote themselves or the facilitators. They do it to share their knowledge. And I felt
mm,
like that was a good way to learn, because it is very overwhelming. Just if you start looking
mm.
at UX design online, it's like, where do you even begin? Or yeah, so try find a way to be selective about where you study, and what you
No, that's brilliant advice. It was really great to catch up. And sounds like you've been very busy since the program. But yeah, it was really great to chat to you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you. And just, yeah, thank you to everybody involved in She Can Do. It really is a valuable program, and I can definitely recommend it to anybody looking to grow in the UX field.